Now he's coming on the side of Beat the Code, right? And Beat the Code just came out and they ran a Paquito jungle last time. They're coming out with a Roger this time. I don't know what is going to happen on the side of Team Gosu to answer that, right? Beat the Code just walked all, they just walked all over Team Gosu. They had such phenomenal gameplay here. And we're seeing Team Gosu probably lock in that Lolita, taking him away. She was a threat. She did have a couple great setups in the last game on the side of Beat the Code. So now we are seeing her taken away on the side of Team Gosu. But the Natan was left open, Ben. How do you feel about that pick for the jungle for Gosu General?
I mean, look at the peel. Look at the space that these double marksman comp has where you have Beatrix, you have Natan, two of the highest DPS marksmen in the game, and they've got a Lolita and a YZ to buy them space and a Farsa to cut them off the retreat. Man, what a great comp coming in from Gosu. This gives them ultimate late game insurance with the double marksman. You get this thing to 12 minutes to 13 minutes and they are destroyed. Interesting to see if the Eudora will be picked here for a burst. That would be a rare pick that we see. There's a lot. There's a Lilia. Oh, Lilia is banned. The Luyi is banned as well. I don't think Kagura is banned, right? So we could see a Kagura here, but Eudora would be a strange pick. Honestly, I'm really excited about the adaptation for double marksman. It was left open again, and into a dive comp, double marksman does outscale it, right? So if Beat the Code can take this early, they do have the advantage. But if anything goes past 12-minute mark, man, Gosu is going to have so much damage, it's going to probably go in the favor of them. So early game versus late game tank, who do you think takes it?
I think Gosu still. You've got that Natan in the jungle. You got the Farsa, the Yuzong to back him up there. And I really like what Team Gosu did. They came out with 4 mage bans. The last 4 bans all came from the mage, right? And it shows you they're really respecting that Farsa pick. They saw the damage she just brought down on the side of Beat the Code. They know she can really wrap it up. Now I like the pick. Kag was still left on the table, so she was able to get picked up by Beat the Code. And you've got a great OP mage there, but Team Gosu really changing it up, blocking, taking out, banning out 4 mages, really putting a lot of pressure on that Farsa. But here we go into the gameplay, Ben. I'm going to go with Team Gosu for the early game. What do you think? With that Roger on the other side, it could be different.
Yeah, I think Gosu may have this from the bag. I like the changes, and they just got to play towards the win condition they set up for themselves. Get to that late game. Don't be snowballed so hard on in the early game that you can't get there, right? And regrets, the Beatrix is in the mid lane, so that does take Farsa into the off lane of that Clint. Clint can now be abused in that early game. So I do expect them to rotate towards that Clint, punish him, and get this Beatrix what she needs in the mid lane, right? You have 2 marksmen, just get to the late game. Don't lose it before you get there.
Now, is Team Gosu going to allow that to happen, right? Now, we know Beat the Code. They want to be here. They deserve to be here. So they are going to play for this win. They are absolutely being aggressive here. That Roger, we just talked about it. Beat the Code is going to be aggressive. They can be. They want to take this home, lock it down early. But that Beatrix we still know is powerful. That Farsa going up against a Clint in the top lane, right? Changing that up. You love to see it. We have seen it before. The YZ, the all-around Natan jungle, I think Gosu. I really do think Beat the Code is going to have a tough time, but they had great rotation last time. They played aggressive. I think we're going to see that again for Beat the Code, but Team Gosu's got a matchup here, and they're going to bring down some damage come late game.
Yeah, you saw them rotate over and try to take out the Farsa. She was low, but it's so hard to dive the Farsa because she can just bird out over the map and not even be targetable, right? But something that did happen early game, Team Gosu burnt 2 flickers in the mid lane, right? And if Beat the Code can capitalize on that with Roger having level 4 early, it looks like we are going to get maybe a kill in here. Oh, he just barely gets away. And Clinton's taking a little bit of punishment in the early game, but does get away. If Roger can get to those 2 flickers that are down right now, the Beatrix, the Lolita, neither of them can escape again from a positional error. So I wanted to see Beat the Code press their advantage right now, take it to them, and try to punish those lack of flickers.
Now, Beat the Code, you're absolutely right. They're right in there with the gold. They're the same. It looks like it. Now we're going to rotate down to that turtle. Natan is going to try and pull that out here for Team Gosu, and they're doing a phenomenal job zoning this out, Ben. Does Beat the Code get in there? Do they try to steal this here? Is that a mistake? Are they going to overextend? Are they going to pay for it with that Yuzong coming up? It doesn't look like it. It looks like they were playing smart. Team Gosu snagged that objective. Beat the Code playing smart, knowing they need to scale here with that double marksman, technically with that Roger Clint, but I don't think it's going to be enough. That Farsa damage, that Beatrix damage, this Team Gosu is looking really good early game with this draft here.
Oh, Clint trying to get punished again, but he did have flicker up, so not a problem. He does get out of town, but you're seeing that Farsa just dominating that Clint in the early game, and that's what they need to do. They need to pick on him and prevent him from scaling, get that Farsa some gold. But two marksmen, true marksmen, and Beatrix and that Taunt are going to be able to burn down neutral objectives so fast. So if you can see Gosu set up a little bit and give their marksmen a little bit of time to work on an objective, it's going to go down so fast. And I mean, we're only 3 minutes in. Can you imagine what's going to happen in the 12-minute mark, right? And this Farsa just being untouchable and giving the Clint so much problem in the lane really stifles his growth, and he's not able to get kills. He hasn't been picked yet, but his flicker is down now. Can Team Gosu rotate around there and punish that? The other two flickers on Gosu's side weren't punished, and they're back up. Beatrix has the flicker, Lolita has the flicker, so they can make plays again. So we want to see if teams can punish these lack of battle spells.
Now, with Farsa on top lane, YZ on bottom lane, I think they've got a great comp to allow this Beatrix and allow this Natan to really farm up and get the equipment they need to really start being a problem for the side of Beat the Code. And we're looking at Team Gosu right here being very aggressive in the mid lane with a little bit of help from YZ coming up. Are we going to have a big team fight engagement here? It looks like YZ is going to push back off. He was coming up, but now Natan, they are going to push him. But both teams playing very, very smart. And looking up at that Farsa, she's causing so many problems for that Clint. He is not getting a chance to scale here, which the team BTK needs to happen. So we got another turtle coming up here, Ben. Does Beat the Code try and position themselves and gain it here? You see Farsa coming down, so we are going to let a lot of gold happen for the Clint side on the top. But a big damage coming from Beat the Code on that Beatrix in mid lane, but she does stay. Beat the Code here, pulling out that turtle, possibly getting this here, Ben. Do they take it, or does Team Gosu position in? And is this a bait? Is this an overextension from Beat the Code?
This is a 4v5 as YZ dives in the back line. Natan is taking a lot of damage to the Lapu. He may get stunned, but that's a Lapu. The first blood. Natan takes it to him and takes Turtle. This is not good for Beat the Code, man. They needed to win early game, and they need to win it well. Now that Gosu's taken an advantage and a couple of Turtles and Natan has a kill, Beatrix is scaling fine in the mid lane. You got two marksmen that are headed to late game really quickly. And that, I think that was a little bit of bait because Gosu had 5 members down. Farsa roamed early for that Turtle take, and Clint was still stuck in the top lane clearing the minions. So Gosu had the man advantage right there. I wanted to see either Beat the Code, get in a bush, make a pick, and get out, or take the turtle earlier, maybe even rotate to the Clint to take the turret in the top lane, trade an objective. Don't stand there in the mid lane and just lose the objective to your face for a zero-sum gain, right? Trade something. We talked about that was happening last game where Beat the Code was just macroing. They're just out-macroing Team Gosu. But this game, Gosu has their hands on the rotations. They've got 2 strong side laners, and you cannot beat the DPS that the 3-1-3, the 3 in the middle right now are putting out for Team Gosu. So much DPS coming out of this double marksman.
And you did, I think you're right with the bait there. They were absolutely baiting Lord, hoping that Beat the Code would push that Lord and make the mistake of overextending because they had the numbers and they played that very, very smart, leaving that Clint up top to gain a little bit of gold and give that up so they could get that pick, that first blood down at Turtle, as well as snaking that Turtle. Absolute great macro play from the side of Team Gosu.
Yeah, you see Roger get a little antsy there, but we haven't seen Roger get involved in a kill or an assist, as now Gosu's rode down to this turret. Lapu does die, but he's low on a turret of 4 people. A mistake coming out for the Lapu, extending himself in a position as the top lane goes. Clint is pushing into the Kagura, may dive the Farsa in the top lane as the trade. It may happen, and the Kagura does get the kill. Excellent gameplay, excellent trade from the side of Beat the Code. Trading objectives. You see 4 people on your Lapu? Yes, he made a positional error by diving into 4. He could have dove the other way and flickered out to get out of trouble, and then he could have an advantage in the top side. But it's good to see Beat the Code rotating to another lane. When they're on this side of the map, we can't fight them right now. Okay, let's go take an advantage over here. They do get the turret, they do get the kill, so that may actually be a sum gain for Beat the Code. Oh, with a Lolita stun on the Kagura, she has nowhere to go. The Clint does clean it up with the Beatrix. Goodness gracious. Beatrix takes the kill. That's 1 kill on Beatrix, 1 kill on Natan, and now taking the turtle. Now 1 member down. I do not think that BTK can fight this. They are pushing in. They need to get out of dodge right now. Here is a 4v5, and they do retreat without a gain. But this extends their goal. They're just going to run right over the mid lane with a pressure of full wave and 2 marksmen. That's going to go down quick. And into the back line, huge Beatrix ultimate. The YZ does dive to clean it up. Natan attempts to take the kill, extending the dive even more as they come in. The minion wave is not done yet. It looks like Beat the Code, Gosu once more. Beat the Code's pressing out, and they do clear the lane. Interesting to see there. Gosu taking an advantage in the early game when they have the scaling comp.
Great gameplay from Gosu on bot there. And Beat the Code, right, answered back, going up to that top lane, knocking down that Farsa and taking a turret. But once again, Team Gosu with that great rotation, they then rotate back to mid lane, take that turret. Phenomenal gameplay. You're seeing him here now take top lane, zoning this out. There's nothing the Clint can do. They are trying to give some more members up there to support, but Team Gosu right now with the rotation, now with a 3,000 gold lead, starting to scale a little bit. That Beatrix is really starting to punch. The Farsa is going to get dangerously dangerous, and that Natan getting his equipment. I'm loving the rotation right now from Team Gosu. It's a lot different than we saw last game. Beat the Code can't be as aggressive as they were last game. They're trying, and they are doing well with answering back, but Team Gosu showing you why they are one of the top-ranked teams in this country right now.
Yeah, taking a look at the item bills down there, you see Roger on his second item just completed that War Axe, but he hasn't been involved in a kill, and they got to get that Roger going as Lolita does walk in the jungle on the Kagura. She may be stunned out. She doesn't have an escape anymore. Lolita with the kill. Excellent punish of a misposition and skill juice, but Lapu dives into the backline. He does have Beatrix a little bit low. He continues to dive, but I don't know if it's a good idea. Run into more members of Team Gosu. Beatrix does pop back. The double marksman demolished that fighter who dove alone into members, chasing a kill, but now they're down 2 members. Turtle comes up in 3 seconds. Beatrix pushing down the mid lane to assure that they can rotate easily towards a tank.
That Farsa damage right there. Yes, Lolita, phenomenal stun, great CC, and did come out with a kill, but that was all set up by that Farsa just raining down that damage. She is really starting to go here. And then you saw that mistake, right? Beat the Code, overextending, going after that Farsa, because he looked at Farsa, knew he could break her down.
Ooh, Roger taking out Farsa. Roger does get a kill on Farsa in the top. That's great to see him going, but at what cost? You're trading Lord for it. That's not a good trade, right? It is a trade, and if they thought they were going to lose Lord anyway, it's good to get something. Oh, it's BTK has dived in. YZ is buying him space and time. Is this enough for them to get back in the game? As General's pushing back through, they have the double marksman now lined up with the YZ dive, and it looks like they're just going to back away. Smart tonight, extend here. Farsa is coming back on the map, and you do have Lord. You want to make sure you get a good usage out of this Lord. So I like the trade of Beat the Code going up and taking down Farsa. Maybe they thought they were going to lose Lord anyway, right? And let's at least get something. I like that mentality, but definitely not like an even trade or anything.
Not at all. I mean, now granted, we talk about Farsa and damage she can do, so taking her off the map right now, it was going to help get a little bit back for Beat the Code, but losing a Lord is just, it's just not the right trade. They didn't get a turret. They didn't get an objective out of it, just 1 kill. That did go to Roger, which he does need to start scaling because he is so far behind on this Natan, who's only going to get stronger in late game. Now with a Farsa ult here, she is back, but she's caught in the open. Roger did want it, but did not get it. The rotation right now from Team Gosu with Lord coming bottom lane is phenomenal. Now, how many inhibitors are they going to give up here, Ben? This is looking pretty bad for Beat the Code.
Beat the Code is defending it well, you can't lie. They are making this slowing down, this progression. But you're talking about slowing down a double marksman comp who's going to gain as this goes, right? And so not having Roger involved in the early game is hurting a lot. Lord's pushing down on the side lane and taking even more turrets here. I do believe they'll at least get in one here. Farsa ults into the back line, and Beatrix 2 to buy space for the Lord to do damage. This is a big stack of Gosu members on to Beat the Code. Lapu diving in. Doesn't get support from the rest of the team, is taken out immediately in that double marksman DPS, and they do finally get the turret here, I think. I don't know, as Roger's diving back in, this may be the fight they need, and they didn't get it, but what a little step out. One little mistake there from Gosu could have costed a lot. As Roger gets going, he's now 2-0, finally getting in this game at the 11-minute mark, but is it too late, Tank? Have they let the double marksman scale too far?
I mean, it is looking pretty bad. The marksman now starting to scale with Farsa's damage behind them is looking pretty dangerous. But we saw really good defend there. I think you're right. They didn't even lose that inhibitor. We thought that was a guarantee with Lord on that lane and the rotation that came from Team Gosu. But beat the Code, absolutely doing a phenomenal job there. Team Gosu doing an even better phenomenal job pulling back, right? Not overextending. Because I'll tell you what, if I looked at that inhibitor, it would have been mine. All right, even if I gave up my life, I would have gone after that thing. So I think they did a very good job strategically to pull back out of that. So you're seeing great gameplay, but you know, Roger is starting to scale now. Roger is starting to get the kills that he needs, the equipment he needs. So I'm liking the defend there for Beat the Code, but like you said, is it enough? I don't know. I hope it is. I want this to go the entire way, but we'll see. It looks like Team Gosu is going to bring this to a three-game matchup, Ben.
It's looking like that thus far, man. You've seen Gosu completely rectify the mistakes they made in the macro game in Game 1 and put out such a better map play from Game 2, man. They're controlling the map state, rotating well, and using the advantage of the double marksman to push down these neutral objectives so quickly. Great on beat the code for a little engage here. Maybe into the back line on the general. Oh, he gets taken so low. A great dive from Cookie. Oh, the Lolita stun into the Beatrix kill and just caught offline by the Lapu stun. Will he be able to get out? He is destroyed. And that is a 2-for-1 trade for Beat the Code. Now Roger's diving in the Farsa. Will he be able to get it? He does get it. Roger with the comeback in this game. Maybe the Beat the Code can run it back on him. Saving that inhibitor turret in the bottom lane was a big turn of the momentum of this game. Roger dives in again. They are going to be able to take this mid lane turret, but that's only their 3rd turret of the game. It's not like they're winning this game yet. They need more. 3 members down. What else can they do, Tank?
I tell you, that's great gameplay right there. You saw Farsa getting caught out there with none of that help, which she needs because she's so squishy. And Roger, when he gets on that hunt, he does exactly that. He does hunt. So I'm loving to see the moves here from Beat the Code. Is it too late? Is it not? I don't know. But either way, they're putting up a phenomenal gameplay, which looked like Team Gosu was just rolling over them. But that Lolita stun, they did extend a little bit with Beatrix getting caught out there, and Team Beat the Code made them pay for it. But now we've got a big Lord being set up here. Big Lord being set up, and this could be a game changer. Whoever takes this could win the game, especially if it's Team Gosu, because there's not much left on the side of Beat the Code.
Big engage right here. This is game winning. Whoever wins this Lord wins the game, most likely. We're 13 minutes into a double marksman comp. Either way this goes, turrets are going on quick if a team falls here. So we're going to see both teams check each other out, expending a few ultimates here and there. I think the big story of that little scuffle was Lolita burned her flicker. So she's not going to have that flicker engaged to stun the entire team. That's going to buy Beat the Code a little bit of space to play with. And it looks like Gosu's a little bit scared. They've given up position on the Lord completely, and Beat the Code's taken it over and started up Lord. Farsa ultimate does take Kush a little bit low, but it's not honestly that much of a problem. He's going to heal up pretty quickly. And Gosu's given over map state to Beat the Code. They're telling him, take the Lord, but Beat the Code hasn't started it yet. I don't think they've noticed that they control this Lord area. As they started up now, both teams are surrounding them. It looks like Gosu's going for a flank on the YZ. He does get found out, and immediately Beat the Code stops and tries to engage here. It is a split team fight. Beat the Code has the advantage, but they walked into a Beatrix ultimate, and they go down. They pay for it. Now Gosu has baited him in. Will it be enough? As YZ dives in the back line with a stun, he won't get it, and Beat the Code does disengage, only losing 1 member. It looks like they were baited into that, taking that fight to Gosu, and Gosu concave controlled that team fight really well. Now Gosu walks back to the Lord with double marksman. Will Lapu be able to engage and stop this? He does get on the Natan with the flicker. He does stun him out. He takes him low, and the Kajura goes in the back line, takes a kill, and it looks like Roger may be able to clean this up. He is low in the background. It is a total trade right now. Farsa with the ultimate turn around. BTK is going to not take this Lord. It is Gosu who wins the team fight. That's going to be the game for Gosu as they take the Lord that BTK started, turn the team fight around, now winning, pushing down multiple lanes. We have the top lane pushed in. Both mid and the bottom can be pushed and beat for Gosu. Beat the Code has 3 members down. Tank, will this be the end of the game?
I think so. I tell you, that was phenomenal gameplay. Beat the Code was actually baiting Lord for Team Gosu, and they ran into their own trap from Team Gosu with that Beatrix ultimate. So you love to see it. Both teams knew what they wanted to do, but Team Gosu was more patient, right? Giving up that Lord just for bait, just to get him into that top lane, and they made him pay for it here. I don't think Beat the Code is going to be able to hold back a Lord coming down with a Farsa, Lolita, Beatrix, but we will see. They've got a chance. They got minions collapsing here, Ben. Big team fight coming up.
Well, they did push out the mid lane, so they don't have any threat on their last remaining inhibitor, and they have Kagura up there clearing the top lane. I don't think they'll get much out of this Lord just because it was a disjointed dive. Now is the chance for Beat the Code to come back when Gosu gets greedy on this wave in the mid. Here's the opportunity they have to dive in. Beatrix ults him off. They do clear the wave. Oh! Lapu gets shredded by the double marksman, the Beatrix ultimate. Even the taken down in the back lane. Look at the damage on the bounce. They're just hitting the turret, and that's just bounce damage. Doing that much work from the double marksman come out. Luckily for Beat the Code, they don't have minions in the mid to push, and they may be able to salvage this game a little bit longer. But what is scaling going to do for them against a double marksman? As the Farsa ultimates in the back line, may even more damage here. There are still no minions in the mid lane to be able to push this down. Can Beat the Code turn this around with this long-term engage in the mid? Now the minions are here for the mid lane for Beat the Code and Gosu to fight over. Beat the Code clears him again. The Lolita flicker in. Only stuns 1. Will they extend here? Will it be enough? Luton does take him down into the back line. Gosu members really healthy into this. And they take down 3 members are dead right now from the team Beat the Code. And Gosu's grouping up again with a double marksman. Roger's flanking around the back. He wants to clean up this team fight. Does a little bit of damage. It's not enough. He's got to get out. They again thwart the end of the game. Beat the Code hanging on by a thread each time in this team fight, proving this is one of the top matchups in North America.
Roger doing everything he can to get to that back line, even running through a Farsa ult there to try to get back there. Getting 2 players down to very, very low HP, but not being able to finish it up right. Team Gosu doing such a great job together as a team, rotating, protecting those damage dealers, protecting that Beatrix, protecting the Natan, the Farsa, doing a great job here. But beat the code, right? Giving up a lot, but not giving up the game. We're looking at 17.5 minutes in where it looked like Team Gosu should have already ended this and walked all over it. But beat the code is here to stay. They are here to stay, and they are putting up a fight. But is it too late, man? I mean, Team Gosu controls this map right now. You know, you've got 70 seconds on the next Lord. Team Gosu is very patient. They're smart. Most likely, it looks like they're just going to keep these lanes frozen. They're going to try and wait for this next Lord. Maybe bait them out again. This is what happened last time against Beat the Code. They let them bait that Lord out, and then they fell into a trap for him here. So do we see really much engagement here, or are we going to be waiting for this 50 seconds for this next Lord, Ben?
Definitely 50 seconds on the Lord. Unless somebody else gets picked off right here, definitely going to wait for this. I'm looking to see here how long Gosu can bait out this Lord until somebody on Beat the Code has to go back and clear lanes. They have 3 inhibitors down. So Gosu never has to take this Lord, and they'll always win in map state. If all 10 members stay in this Lord pit, Gosu wins the game by default. They've got to send somebody back to clear waves, and when that happens, you can look for Gosu to press their advantage. They have double marksman. They're going to take this Lord extremely quickly. And as the map state advantage, it's just giving this Lord take to Gosu in time. But can Beat the Code make a pick here? Can they punish? Can they get Roger to the position where he can clean up the team fight? There's some squishy members on the side of Gosu. Roger can clean this up in an instant if he can get in with what he needs.
Team Gosu doing exactly what they are. They're zoning out. The Yuzong pushing that Lapu, trying to make that macro gameplay like you talked about. The BTK knowing they need to separate this and split this up and push him off of this Lord, but Yuzong does force go down there to keep him honest. And we're going to have a big engage here coming. Roger does try to go into that Farsa. Does not get the damage. Do they push off of this? Lolita's ult is there. Man, does Team Gosu just roll over right here?
They stalled the Lord, and now the engage. Lapu's got a great engage with all his team there. Roger and Lapu finally hooking up together. Can Roger close it on the back line? Lapu stuns him. And great in the back line to secure that kill as YZ dives a little bit too deep. Now Beat the Code has the advantage. They may 2-0 sweep Gosu here as Roger gets going in the back line. Can he get on the hunt and finish that? And it's Clint who finishes it. They take a 3-for-1 trade onto Gosu, who has the double marksman comp in the late game. What a great team fight there. Pushing and pulling, diving in, retreating out. Perfect execution from Beat the Code, and they're rewarded with a Lord take here. They have 3 inhibitors down, but they need to get something off of this Lord take. They need to press in with 3 members down. They have to press their advantage now.
Huge, huge play from Beat the Code, even with Beatrix in there, even with Farsa and those big damage dealers. And Beatrix did get a kill in there, the only one kill on the side of Team Gosu. But you're looking at Beat the Code with a Lord coming up. 4 members from their team pushing against 3 members of Team Gosu. But what will they do with it here? They need to counter. They are behind right now. They have no turrets left on the map. So you're going to see a massive split push using that Lord. Will it be enough? We're about to find out. Farsa using that ult just to get some damage.
Oh!
Huge burst damage from that Kag. This is not looking good for the side of Team Gosu. Ben, what do you think just happened as a mistake there? Was that overextension? Did they not know they were there? I mean, Farsa was in that lane and just got bursted down by that Kag.
This is huge. As Beat the Code now pushing out, I was going to say I wasn't going to get much, but now with Farsa gone, they have no wave clear to step up, right? This is huge for Beat the Code, allowing them to clean up a lot of turrets. A huge burst on a Farsa from that Kagura instantly deletes her. What a great pick from Kagura. Now, Beat the Code actually has a chance to end this game at 2-0 Gosu and knock them out of the semifinals. Pushing down the mid lane, they've gotten 3 turrets off the take thus far. Pushing in the mid lane, can they break the inhibitors? It looks like they're having to retreat here, but they dive back in with the Farsa out of the YZ, and he gets it with the Lapu stun. The Roger does take the kill. Excellent gameplay coming off of Beat the Code. They need to rotate down lane to get the bottom lane. They do, so they secure themselves an inhibitor, and the rest of the inhibitor turrets are very low. They have no more minions, though. Mid lane's barreling down. They may get an opportunity here as those mid lane push in. It looks like they're backing away from it. They're going to tank up the top lane, and they've got 2 inhibitors, 3 inhibitors, and they're going to take the 3rd inhibitor. It looks like here the minions are pushed out. So Farsa did respawn and was able to push that wave out. Tank, I think we're going to see a map reset right here and wait for that next Lord.
What a gameplay. What a turnaround where it looked like Team Gosu from start until about 18 minutes looked like they had this game. And Beat the Code just saying, I don't think so. I know who you guys are. We're not going to game 3. I want to finish it now. Absolute great gameplay from both sides. That Farsa coming back in, being able to zone that out, really showing them that Beat the Code couldn't finish it right there. But you're absolutely right. You're going to see a reset on the map here. You're going to see everyone take a breather. You're going to try to see and Beat the Code taking the jungle away from that Natan.
Yeah.
Absolute phenomenal gameplay there. Very, very smart. And that Roger is now fed. That Roger, we know what he can do. But Beatrix, but Farsa, is it going to be enough? Taking the blue and the jungle away from Natan is going to help. But can Beat the Code finish here? Can they draw him out? I mean, we all talk about it. That one team fight, that big team fight. It's going to be the next team fight that finishes this game.
Yeah, and I love to see Beat the Code's positioning here, not even letting anybody from Gosu step close to the Lord. We control this jungle. If you walk in these bushes, you will die. You're too squishy, right? The only person that can check bushes is Alita, and at this point in the game, she may die too. So I love Beat the Code just sitting in their jungle. Bot lane, it's a trade, right? Those minions are going to fight each other. Lapu's now clearing it and pushing it in there. They have map control from Beat the Code. And honestly, we've seen Gosu make critical errors in the last 5 minutes that have let Beat the Code back into this game. I'm not saying they didn't play well. Don't get me wrong. It takes a good team to punish little mistakes. But Gosu, a couple of picks out, mispositioned by the Farsa. The Kagura picks her off. And then what a huge snowball. That one kill cost them so much of the map state. And now they're denied from any Lord position as it comes up in 30 seconds, Tank.
Even with the dual marksman, the Beatrix, the Natan, the Farsa, the damage we know that Team Gosu is capable of with these heroes, Beat the Code is answering back, making very smart plays, right? They're looking at the mistakes that Team Gosu makes, the little overextensions, right? The team fights where Roger does get to that back line, where Kag does get those picks. Lapu does go in and tank it up for the team, take that damage, that Raft there to just keep the team going. So I'm loving the team fights on the side of Beat the Code, even with what we know as the massive damage coming from those heroes on the side of Team Gosu. But we got Lord up right now, and it looks like Beat the Code is doing a phenomenal job zoning this out, Ben. Is this a free Lord for Beat the Code, or do we see a push here from Team Gosu?
Using the supports, also the cloak to get in and see this Lord. Finally seeing the HP. They were denied vision completely. Lolita may be punished here as the dive comes in. They may extend going for Lolita here. They've spent a lot trying to get that Lolita, and now Lolita re-engages. She doesn't flicker for the stun. General goes in for a little bit of damage, but it's going to be a reset onto the Lord itself. No huge ultimates have been traded here. You did get the Lolita flicker and ultimate, but that's going to be up pretty soon. And now Beat the Code has kind of an advantage. They haven't spent any battle spells in this. As they go out for the Roger, oh, he does get Kagura on Poke, and the Lapu dives in, doesn't get a good stun, gets out immediately. These teams just testing each other back and forth. They know one mistake here costs either team the game.
And Raft there does get caught up there, but the Yuzong can't take advantage of it. Real good positioning there by Yuzong and the team of Gosu, and is going to force that Raft to go back, which means Beat the Code doesn't have the arsenal, doesn't have the team comp they need right now to go after this Lord. So you do see Lapu pushing on that bottom lane, right? Very, very smart move. At this point, all 10 players have been dealing with this Lord, but you've got a Lapu pushing the bottom, getting that bottom lane going, hopefully drawing Team Gosu, right? To send somebody down to that lane, which might open up the Lord for Beat the Code here. Great positioning, great macro plays from both teams, but it's really going to come down to this team fight in this Lord. Obviously, both teams know they need it. And Roger, maybe on the hunt here, doesn't look like he's going to overextend, is going to pull back. And that minion wave on bottom is starting to really bunch up down there, Ben, forcing someone to go down. And you see Farsa from Team Gosu being taken out, one of the big damage dealers. Is this the moment for Beat the Code? Is this the time they take Lord, Ben?
Yeah, they're starting it up, baiting Gosu to come fight him. Come fight is 4v5, and Farsa's rotating back over. Beatrix ultimate does get a lot of damage. YZ's in the background doing a lot of disruption, but Lapu traded in, and Lapu goes down, but YZ doesn't. A great trade for Gosu thus far. And if they can keep this team fight, just like this huge damage from the top, burst out the Kagura. We have a 5v3 on the Lord pit right now. Beat the Code has stepped a little bit too far. Now they have to give over, relinquish control of the Lord to Gosu. How much will it cost them? As a great position from Roger in the bushes there. He can't get it done. He does get found out by the Farsa ultimate. And now Beat the Code is here to stop Gosu from taking this Lord. If Gosu could just play the map state here, stall it out a little bit longer, and eat this Lord correctly, I think they may be able to take the game here. And it does look like pushing into the jungle. Zip taking a lot of damage. He's got to get out of dodge on the Rafaela. And Lord is going to go over to the side of Gosu here with the double marks and doing a lot of damage, Tank.
Great gameplay from both sides. It looked like Beat the Co was making the smart play there, forcing Farsa to come off of that and go to the bottom lane and allowing BTK to get that Lord. But it didn't take her long. Her mobility, right? And Team Gosu, they're pushing hard here, Ben. They're going to try and finish this game even before the Lord shows up.
They have minions. They're going for it right now. It's double marksman. It's game over. They just left the Lord open. What a game from Team Gosu.
Unbelievable.
Beat the Co coming back and fighting really hard in the late game, but Gosu ties it up, and we go to game 3. Excellent gameplay from both sides here. Gosu dominating the early game, taking it to him, and then Beat the Code coming back against the double marksman comp, winning most of the late game. A couple of mistakes there at that last Lord fight made it so Gosu takes the Lord, didn't even need the Lord, runs in with double marksman and guns down the Nexus tank.
I mean, Team